All right, let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about Bede, a district in Maharashtra, India. And you might be thinking, okay, just another district. But when you really start to look closely, you realize it's this incredibly complex puzzle. A perfect, and I mean perfect, case study of what experts call a development trap.
So first things first, where does the name even come from? Well, Bede is derived from the word beer, which means well, or you guessed it, water. It got that name centuries ago for a very simple reason. The place was overflowing with groundwater. Now hang on to that word, water, because it is absolutely central to this whole story. And that, right there, brings us to the massive question at the heart of this explainer. If Bede was once known as the land of wells, how on earth is it now a place that's pretty much defined by constant drought and a terrible chronic water crisis? It's a paradox. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Yeah, this isn't just some interesting piece of trivia. This contradiction, from a land of water to a land of scarcity, is the central paradox that shapes pretty much everything here. Daily life, the economy, the whole society. If you can understand this, you can understand Bede.
I mean, look at the difference. It's just so stark. Back in the 14th century, a ruler literally names the place for its abundance of wells. Fast forward to today, and official government documents call it a scarcity zone. That is a wild reversal of fortune, and trust me, it did not happen by accident.
So the obvious question is, where did all the water go? Well, to figure that out, we have to look down, at the very ground they're standing on. We have to understand the environmental foundation that really sets the stage for all this scarcity.
Just take a look at this. Bede's forest cover is alarmingly low. We're talking around just 3% of its total land. And you have to remember, forests are like a giant natural sponge. They soak up rainwater and slowly release it to recharge the groundwater. When you don't have them, the rain just washes right off the land, causing erosion and doing almost nothing to help with the water problem. And to really put that 3% number into perspective, here's the number you should be seeing: 33%. That's considered the absolute minimum for a region to be environmentally stable. So Beachmead isn't just a little bit off target, it's in a whole different league. It's a massive, massive ecological deficit.
And the problems just keep stacking up. The very rock underneath is Deccan black basalt, which is notorious for not holding water well. Then you throw in really low rainfall. The result? Over 80% of the farms are completely at the mercy of the monsoon rains, which are famously unreliable. It's really a perfect storm for creating the kind of deep-seated water scarcity that now defines the region.
Now, this environmental problem doesn't just stay in its lane. Oh no, it spills over and kicks off this devastating chain reaction, creating a vicious economic cycle that has basically had the district in a chokehold for decades. Okay, so here's how that cycle works, step by step. It all starts with the water scarcity. That makes farming, the main source of income, a huge gamble. Well, that risk scares away any serious industrial investment. I mean, who's going to build a factory where you can't even get a steady water supply? So, with no new investment, you get a stagnant economy and widespread poverty. That environment can then breed weak governance, which of course fails to tackle the root problem, the water. And boom, the cycle just starts all over again. And if you want real-world proof, look no further than this. Back in 1997, the government tried offering a tax holiday to attract businesses. It was a total flop. Why? Because as it turns out, tax breaks are pretty meaningless if you don't have reliable water or decent roads. It's a classic case of trying to fix a deep, foundational problem with a shallow, surface-level solution. It just doesn't work. And the end result of this relentless cycle is, well, this. Beard's economy has barely moved since 1960. Think about that for a second. Its per capita GDP is way, way behind the rest of the state. This isn't just a bad decade. It's a multi-generational economic trap. And of course, this isn't just about economic charts and GDP figures. This stagnation has a real, devastating, and frankly overwhelming human cost. This is where the numbers on a spreadsheet become actual human tragedies. This right here is just staggering. For women who migrate from Bede to cut sugarcane, the rate of hysterectomies is around 36%. Now compare that to the national average in India, which is just over 3%. What could possibly explain that huge gap? It's economic desperation. Many of these women feel pressured into the surgery so that their menstrual cycle never causes them to miss a day of work and lose a day's wages. It's a brutal, heartbreaking calculation driven purely by poverty.
And the social fallout goes even deeper.
You see profound gender inequality, which is reflected in a really disturbing child-sex ratio. There are persistent and violent caste conflicts, and the whole political scene is incredibly fragile, where even local crimes can explode into major political crises. The whole social fabric is under immense strain.
So you might be thinking, well, the problem must be a total lack of government, right? But then you see this. On paper, BEAD has the whole shebang. A district collector, multiple additional collectors, deputy collectors for just about everything. I mean, the entire bureaucratic framework seems to be in place.
And yet, after seeing all those official titles, you come back to this. A direct quote blaming weak administration as a key reason investors stay away. This just exposes this huge gulf between the structure of governance, having all the positions filled, and its actual effectiveness on the ground. It's a powerful reminder that having the machine isn't the same as having it work.
Okay, so after all that, is there any hope? Is BEAD just doomed to be stuck in this cycle forever? Well, it's not that simple, because even with all these massive challenges, there are real, tangible signs of resilience and, maybe, a way forward.
You know, there is an incredibly vibrant local culture here, a real sense of community identity. You also see some glimmers of modernity, like a new digital portal for government services, and this is a big one. There's a serious focus on providing affordable education, which is one of the most powerful long-term investments you can make in a community's future.
So ultimately, what the story of BEAD really teaches us is that you can't just fix one thing in isolation. You can't fix the economy without fixing the water problem. You can't fix the water problem without having effective government. In a development trap this tangled, everything is connected to everything else.
And that really leaves us with the biggest and most difficult question of all. When you're facing a trap that's this tightly woven together, where the environment, the economy, society, and politics are all reinforcing each other, where on earth do you even start to pull it apart?